James Lawson, you're up.
You're up. So just checking a few things. So happy Wednesday. Good morning, everyone, and welcome to 1 Million Cups of Fairfax, where we caffeinate entrepreneurs nationwide every single Wednesday. New slide, please. So 1 Million Cups Fairfax is actually sponsored by the Kaufman Foundation, where we work with communities and entrepreneurship and education to increase opportunities that allow all people to learn, take risks, and to own their own success. The 1 Million Cups was actually launched in 2012, where we have roughly about 120 communities across the US. So we are a national and we have a local mission. We work towards this mission through creating a consistent educational experience for each 1 Million Cup presenter nationwide, while also highlighting the uniqueness and the value proposition in each local startup community. Now, we do have, like most organizations, our 4 key pillars. The first one being presentations, not pitches. This is not a place to try and pitch to get funding. We are here to try and guide and offer guidance to entrepreneurs. We look for authentic connections, not networking. So really think of this more as a mastermind versus a traditional networking group. We are run for the community, by the community. Everyone here, all the organizers, are all volunteers to make this thing operate, and we are radically and intentionally inclusive. New slide. So, as always, we like to make sure that anyone who is a new visitor gets a little bit of airtime to introduce themselves. So if you're new to 1 Million Cups Fairfax, please go ahead, raise your hand, either electronically or, wave at the screen if you can't find it, and let us know if you're new.
Hi, everyone. My name's Alex. I've been coming here for the past 3 weeks with good conversion marketing and heard it from Jen Dalton.
Welcome, Alex. Anyone else?
Great to have you.
So one of the things we ask everyone to do is to go ahead and check in using the QR code on the screen. Now you can do it here or do it via the website. It's kind of important. We like to make sure we record the number of visitors that come in to 1 Million Cups on a weekly basis, because it helps us get swag, right? We want to show the foundation that we are continually growing the organization and the number of attendees. So this won't be the first time you'll see the QR code. You'll get to see it later on. But if you get a chance, do it now, grab it, and then go ahead and register yourself. That would be awesome. Thank you. This next slide is the FBI most wanted list. And so you can see this is a band of merry people. I'm just kidding. This is our organizing team and our ambassadors for 1 Million Cups in Fairfax. This doesn't happen on its own. It takes a lot of effort from a lot of people to put these things on a weekly basis. And this is it. This is the team that does it. Next slide. So we have 2 main sponsors. I'm going, Jen, do you want to talk about George Mason, or do we have Eddie in the room? Because I can't really see.
I'll go ahead and jump in and speak to George Mason Enterprise Center. So George Mason Enterprise Center in Fairfax is part of an ecosystem of incubators, if you will, in Northern Virginia. You do not have to be a George Mason alum or student to participate. It's open to any business owner. And for businesses who are looking for, whether it's dedicated space, a virtual membership where you can still access conference rooms and training rooms, or if you're also looking for mentorship, especially how to work in the GovCon space or beyond, they have 18 mentors that are available for free as part of being a member. So do check it out. You can email Eddie Hill. You can see that email there on the screen. You can also check out their new website, www.mec-fairfax.org. So I will put that link in chat so you can look at it and check it out. And with that, our coffee sponsor, James Lawson.
Me again. Thank you, Impact Business Solutions. I am James Lawson. I am the coffee sponsor for this month, and very, very happy to do that. Impact Business Solutions is a small business coaching and consulting company where we specialize in working with early stage businesses around their marketing foundation, ideal client differentiation, offer, methodologies, etc., to help them build a 6-figure business. We also do some work in the fractional area, which is fractional sales. So if it's a company in growth mode who doesn't want to hire a full-time sales director, they can bring us in and we work on a fractional basis to help them build and run their sales organization. And so that's us. We are the coffee sponsor for this month. Thank you. Next slide, Jen. So let's talk a little bit about how the meetings work. We are going to have a presenter who is very lovely, who's going to talk a little bit about their business. We're then going to move into Q&A, which will be moderated. So if you have a question, you'll be able to raise your hand and ask our presenter a question. We ask that you keep yourself muted at all times until you are given the floor, at which case you can unmute yourself. Very simple. Next. So this is our presenter for this week, the lovely Maria Gatillon, who is the CEO of Shine Interior Design. We've known Maria for a long time. It's a wonderful individual, great company, and really excited to hear what Maria is going to share with us. So Maria, the floor is yours.
Great. Thank you, James. Appreciate it. It's great to finally present after all this time I've been attending 1Million Cups. So I am a certified interior designer and interior architect behind Shine Interior Design. And I'm here to present to you the challenge question that I struggle to identify my clients, pain points and values, so I can develop messaging and that engages with them and identify where I can meet them. I started my company with a partner. She was in sales, so she had a lot of contacts. As I move as a solopreneur, I find myself trying to find my own clients, hence the struggle to talk to them at the level of service that I want to provide. Next slide, please. So as one of the things that I'm struggling, I would like to know and ask our guests, what is where do you look for an interior designer, or where would you look for an interior designer if you have a project that you will be taking care of? If you can please scan the QR code on the left of the slide. It's interactive tool that will allow us to get your answers. Okay, so thank you so much for all your answers. They're very helpful. Let me know when we want to move to the next slide, please. I think there's a couple more. Okay. So, as I mentioned, I provide interior design services. My firm is a full service interior design firm based in Fairfax, Virginia. I help homeowners and also small business owners create one-of-a-kind um, spaces that reflect their lives or their business goals and aspirations. We have our seamless and highly personalized design process designed to understand and cater each client unique needs, translating them into innovative, functional, and beautiful spatial solutions. We guide our clients expertly through the design process and its documentation to assist them in implementing through the construction administration process. Through personalized one-on-one consultations and transparent communication, I create clear vision, specific goals, outline the investment, and establish a timeline to ensure that the success of every project. And I handle all the details so you guys or my client can actually focus on their lives. Next slide, please. As I mentioned, I am an interior architect. I have an architecturally trained interior design degree, and I am also certified by the NCIDQ, which is the National Council for Interior Design Qualification. I have experience with doing residential and commercial projects. My training and experience allows me to provide complete interior design package from consultation to the final reveal. My knowledge of the building environment allows me to coordinate with other trade consultants to bring my designs to life. I prepare detailed construction documentation, and my experience selecting ready-made furniture or semi-custom and also designing custom furniture and millwork allows me to provide a very personalized design for my clients. Next slide, please. The company was formed in 2021. I had a partner, and in 2024, we parted ways. We are officially open, and our first ideal client came in May of 2023, and we operate in a DMV area. What we offer, I have developed unique skills through formal training, experience, and certification. Besides the skills I already mentioned, I incorporate building codes, psychology of the space. I am well versed in accessible, meaning ADA solutions, and I'm very knowledgeable about materials. Just to mention a few considerations that I keep in mind when I'm designing my projects. This allows me to offer my clients cost-saving solutions and avoid costly mistakes in a done-for-you experience. It is more prevalent lately to see designers that treat the 3D rendering as a complete design or the DIY movement as interior design. And I have found that I can't be further away from the truth. Creating one-of-a-kind spaces involves many layers and skills that, when put together correctly, enhances the client's life and or business goals. The challenges we solve. We simplify the complexities of the home renovation and interior design for busy professionals and small business. We have a tailored approach that transforms the unique needs, like understanding what the client needs in a client brief through questionnaires and gathering their inspiration for their space and turning those into unique, functional, beautiful spaces through the design, budget management, and providing that 3D that I'm talked to you about. But you can see how many steps were involved at the beginning. Then we alleviate decision fatigue, providing those 3D designs and expertly guiding my clients through selections and detailing the design further. And then as we start doing those selections, we continue to fine tune the 3 design so you can start seeing how your kitchen will be. After that, we move on to the implementation part where the GC takes all of our hard work and implements it on site. We manage that site so your final project looks exactly the same as the 3D that we worked really hard. Our unique proposition, we provide innovative design in this kitchen that you've seen in the presentation. We've had a small kitchen with an eating area at the front. The challenge that our clients had was that behind the refrigerator to the left, there is their family room. And on the right side of the wall of cabinets that we see is their family room, like living room. And behind the far wall is the formal dining room that they never used. So our solution was the ability to open up all the spaces and create this really beautiful large kitchen where they could provide not only the sense of the chef experience, but also allow them to keep an eye on the kids. And another aspect that was important to them was having one of the partners has wonderful green thumb. And so their outdoor space is gorgeous. So now where the stove is, he can look at the yard, at the front yard and the backyard while he's cooking. Then beautiful, we provided walnut veneer cabinetry on the perimeter and painted cabinet island to reduce or manage costs. And that was a 10-foot island, by the way. Next slide, please. We generate revenue through 3 phases of the design. We have the design fee, which is a package of estimated hours to survey the space, develop up to 2 design options, refine the design, and create construction drawings. Then we move on to the procurement of materials. It's another fee. We're assisting the clients on making selections, working on that budget, ordering materials, furniture, and fixtures, and arranging the reception of those materials, getting a white glove delivery to the job site, and arranging for installation. And later we move on to the construction administration, as I mentioned before, where we are working closely with a general contractor to coordinate the design implementation. Next slide, please. So right now we have 2 ideal residential clients. I'm going to summarize them for sake of time. So our age range or demographics is between 30 and 60-year-olds with an income of 150 up to 600 and plus. They are executive level professionals or mid-level professionals or home-based business owners and mortar business owners as well. Most of their pain points are that they have outdated spaces that are inefficient. They have inefficient layouts, lack of time and expertise to manage larger renovations, and they could be overwhelmed by the complexity of the renovations. The goals are to balance family, functional, and elegant design and function and they could have multi-room remodeling or renovation, or need some space planning or storage solutions. For the boutique commercial, we have the demographic of 35 to 55-year-olds with a business generating between 100,000 to 2 million annually. They could be a studio, a cafe, a boutique shop, small office. Their pain points is they are new lessees. They want to create a space that ties into their brand and culture. The spaces may feel outdated or lack personality, and they need space planning for the small areas to optimize the functionality and impact, or help with their layout optimization or creating a new layout as a tenant fit out for optimal client and employee performance. Our other potential partners are realtors, real estate investors, developers, brands, tenants, and builders. We are currently on Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, and Google My Business. And other service options, as I saw in some of your responses, there are kitchen and bath showroom retailers, home improvement stores, DIY, architects, other decorators and interior designers, furniture dealers and retailers, and design build firms. So back to the question, what type of messaging will resonate with clients like this? And I believe that as many of you being small business owners could be a potential client for both your residential, or if you at any point would need a commercial space as well.
Awesome.
All
Thank you,
right.
Maria. It's very cool.
Yeah.
Lots of information. So we're going to move into the Q&A, and that will be moderated by Mr. Foster, I believe.
Thank you, sir.
And
You're correct.
so the way it's going to work is please keep questions succinct, right? Not rambling, so we can get through as many as we can. And Maria will try and keep her answers succinct as well. Won't you, Maria? Because that's what we do.
Of course.
Okay, John, over to you.
James, I don't have that accent, but just to forewarn people, I will do my best to cut you off kindly if you go too long. So with that, I see Amy's got her hand raised, and so Amy, why don't you kick us off? Maria, thank you again for the presentation. Awesome, and looking forward for comments and helpful insights from people. So Maria, thank you, and Amy,
Thank you.
you had your hand raised, and you're on mute.
I've got to learn to use Zoom. Maria, thank you for the presentation. I'm super interested. As I posted in the comments, I'm commercial client number 2. Just put my picture there. So the question is, are there particular projects you prefer depending on whether it's a family home versus a small business space?
No, I'm client focused, and I've honed my skills to be able to help in the interior design aspect. So in the past, I've been a hotel designer. So I've managed really large projects. So I currently don't have a preference. I just want to help my client.
Okay, thank you.
Great, thank you. Rachel, you're up.
Hi, yes. Sorry, my video is not wanting to go. Hi, yes. So I guess the question, I guess, is deciding, do you want another partner? Are you looking to continue to do this on your own? Is that because you did bring that up? So is that part of why you're looking for new clients, or why you're looking for figuring out what your new client is?
So at this time, I want to know what I can do on my own.
Mm-hmm.
I have a very specific skill set that I am not finding my equivalent to partner with. So the reason my partner used to bring the clients, and I've been in the past, I've been in the studio. So I did have, when I would see, or yeah, when I would interact with clients, I was presenting the design that we were doing. So now that I'm moving as a solopreneur, I don't have that relationship with finding clients and the know-how. And because I have those high skills, I find myself um, it takes me time to explain what I do.
Mm-hmm. And
Uh,
maybe it could be, finding that not necessarily you might be very good at what your profession is. It's also that marketing point and networking point that might be something to look at as far as partnering with somebody on that.
Yes,
Mhm.
thank you. Yeah.
Thank you, Rachel. Let's jump to Jen, then John, then Alex.
Great job, Maria.
Thank you.
The three things I wanted to point out, one would be as companies are trying to figure out how to return to work, a lot of companies have reduced their footprint. And so they have a smaller space to work with now than they did before. So I might look at commercial realtors who are tenant advocates. One person that I know is Adam Collins. Happy to connect you with him. Second, I think that the architect certification that you have is really compelling because it's not just like, I feel like a lot of people are like, I'm an interior designer. Um, Let me come design stuff and more DIY as opposed to certified, really trained. So I would highlight those messages. And then lastly, the slide you shared where you talked about innovative, functional, and beautiful. Um, those are really nice points to make when you're talking with someone around you elevate a space with an innovative approach. Like it will be innovative and better as a space. It will be beautiful and it will be more functional for their life. So I really loved how you have that woven into your mission and about. I think those are also good words to bring in because they can evoke a lot of questions. So I'll put those thoughts in chat, but great job.
Thank you.
Awesome. John Rutenberg.
First, I'm going to defer to Alex. I think his hand was up.
Oh, was
first,
I?
and I saw John Norse up also. Okay. Yeah, Alex first.
Go ahead,
And
Alex.
Melinda too. And
Yeah,
Melinda too.
We'll
thank
get Melinda.
And
We forgot
Melinda,
you,
she was
Melinda.
shaking her hand. Yes.
Yes, I got her.
Yeah, thanks, John. Yeah, Maria, great presentation. I loved it. Great information. So I'm thinking about the source of, clients that you can possibly get, maybe property management companies. I'm a board member of our HOA, and we get a lot of our any home services, any design stuff usually comes from our property management. They usually give us recommendations and, give us referrals. Hey, these are the people that you might want to speak to. So, but, that might be a source of clients for you if you reach out to those companies.
Okay. Thank you.
All right, John Norris.
Sorry about that. Just trying to find my off mute or whatever. Hey, Maria, thanks for your presentation. Had two just quick thoughts. The first one is, I don't know how you're marketing, but the thing that jumps out to me is the people you were describing are busy and professionals. The thing that you do is time. You help them better manage their time by paying you for your services. I don't have the time to go to 5 design centers and 5 this and Home Depots and Lowe's and whoever else. So I don't know how you're marketing, but to me, if I'm a busy person, I'm going to seek out your services because I don't have the time to do this project. The second thing that really was kind of concerning though is you said it's kind of complex what I do, and that could be a problem in terms of how you're not connecting with your clients. If you're if you're trying to talk over my head or things that are too I'm just looking for someone to help like redo my house, say, whatever, the whole first floor or something. I want it simple. And the more complex it gets, I'm probably going to be concerned because more things would go wrong. So to me, your messaging should be very simple and crisp and clear. Like, hey, I do great work, I have great outcomes, but I do it efficiently for time. Something along those lines. How the sausage is made isn't something that needs to be led with. It's going to be kind of found out later. But those are just my thoughts.
Thank you.
All right. Let's see. John.
Yeah, thank you. I ain't that big a gentleman. First of all, Maria, you're a success story because you came months and months and months ago to 1MC, became an active participant, and now you're presenting to us. So thank you so, so much. It's awesome. So, as amazing as you are, you cannot be everything to everyone.
Right.
And that's really important. And you probably know better than anyone if you should be a residential interior designer and architect or commercial. And there are pluses and minuses of both, which we can explore later. But that's my numero uno comment. The other comments go to pain points. When we went through the process, I was scared out of my mind because I can't tell the difference between looks good and looks bad half the time because I don't know stuff. And that's a pain point in reality, particularly for that HR director or owner of a business making space. You know, on the commercial side, the pain point is in my salon, can you make it efficient where I can add a chair and more revenue? On the residential side, the pain points are a little different. So start there and define a market you want to be in. And we'll talk more, but that's number one, and I'll stop.
Great. Melinda.
I have a list of stuff, but some of it's been covered. First one, home shows. There's a big home show that's here every year in January or February. You probably can't have a booth this time, but walk the show, work the show. It's really worthwhile. I did write down commercial, you'll have more traction because again, as Jen said, you can go through a lot of the brokers and also each community has an area that develops the cities and they bring in businesses and the businesses that they're bringing in are going to need help with that kind of, they sell the commercial space for the city, commercial space. I find that one thing that's always worked for me is go after some of the bigger firms that you compete with. They might need you on a project and they might have some projects that they're too big to take or the person can't afford their level. I used to get a lot of marketing projects working with some of the very, very big agencies. So that may be of help to you. And then I totally agree with community home centers, the community home owner associations. They're really good. And for social media, try Pinterest too. My husband doesn't do social media, but he looks on Pinterest for audiophile stuff, and you can show off a lot of your really cool stuff. And that's my list.
All right, let's see. James, first time hand raiser there. Go ahead, James. Take yourself off mute though.
I'm an idiot. Can we get the challenge question back up? Because I want to make sure I address the challenge question, which is like identifying the pain points and values, right? Yeah. Because in all of this, the marketing channels are all great and shows are great. But if Maria can't go in there and actually describe and talk about stuff that people will resonate with, I don't really think it matters. So I'm just going to reiterate, Maria, what John Rutenberg said, and you and I have discussed this multiple times about you got to pick a thing, right? You pick a thing and you get really good at that thing. And I would suggest to you, you pick the thing immediately that is the easiest for you to actually manage and build, right? Because we all like the idea of the big grandiose conversions, but generally with the smaller, less complex things are the easiest to get done and more profitable, usually, not all the time. But picking a thing that you can actually get your teeth into and really understand from a pain point standpoint, to me, is like your best track. It's going to be really tough for you to identify pain points across the board for all these different markets or different ideal clients that you're kind of looking at, versus going picking one that you know you can actually execute on really well and efficiently. And it just makes it easier for you to speak when you meet anybody, because you're not thinking about 5 different markets, you're only thinking about one. And that will make it easier. And by the way, once you get the one done, the rest kind of get easier to identify. But that's my advice. It's never a good idea to try and launch into multiple markets simultaneously, because everyone's got a different thing. So,
all right. Well, I was John Norris. I'm assuming your hand came down. Okay.
Mine didn't
Let's
go.
see.
Hey, I was up also. My hand all of a sudden disappeared.
Oh,
So
okay. Go ahead, John.
that didn't happen to you, John? Okay.
No, he's good.
So, I'll echo James because I think that's number one fundamental decision. You said you find it hard to explain what you do. So you have amazing photos before and after, which tell the story of your achievements better than any of us can do for our business, but your business lends itself to it. And so very quickly, rather than talk about the technical aspects that I fall asleep to, I want to know that either on the residential side, when I'm done, my wife or my husband is going to be able to see the kids in the family room when they're doing their homework or whatever, when you push out the backyard. And my pain points are cost, my pain points, I don't know what I'm doing. How will I know if I like this? Those kind of, and so do it in photos. Someone said to me, facts tell, stories sell. And so for Mr. and Mrs. Smith, who wanted to expand this is the beginning and this is the end. You don't have to say much more. And it's different on the commercial side, but pick one. And the pain points are different. And your messaging is based on who you're talking to. And the geography is different. So you could be a specialist within 5 miles of your house as a radius if you're on the residential side and get known as that.
Thank you, John.
Yep. Thank you.
Jen?
One thing I wanted to throw out there, because we were talking about this yesterday. Most people haven't done a large interior design project or renovation. And if they do, they may be doing it once, twice, maybe 3 times in their life. It's such a big investment that it really does need to be done correctly. And I think understanding that is something you can talk with someone about, right? Like, imagine if you redo your kitchen and it's not exactly what you want. It's very hard to fix and undo, right? Or imagine if you redo something else in your home. And so I think playing to those concerns about this might be a once in a lifetime investment you're making. So let's make sure it's right. I am sure there are data points around how many times things are not done correctly. A friend of mine is on their 3rd builder because they haven't found someone they can work with. And I think the same is probably true for renovations. People get nervous about it. So if you can tell them up front how you have this architect certification, it helps you make sure everything is to code. It helps them see exactly what they're going to get. Like John Rutenberg said, show those photos. I think that could go a really long way. But given my personal experience, I definitely think doing bigger scale like that kitchen renovation, they're not going to do that again, hopefully. That was once.
Right.
And so they better get it right for that dollar amount. So just something to think about as well. I think what you mentioned were sort of the elevator conversation. If you're out networking, how do you talk about it simply to keep the conversation moving? So that's just one thing I was thinking about that may help you get started.
Thank you.
All right. Let's see. Before James jumps in, I want to just throw in one comment. There's certainly, I think, the underlying theme. It's the answer to your challenge question. You said you're struggling to identify client ideals. You got to decide who the client is, and I think that's kind of the underlying theme is having a niche. And to me, I'm always going to push LinkedIn for obvious reasons. I already talked about it. I'll see you in class. But yeah, I mean that is, the question, and that's the question, for people who are looking for a job as well, is what is their niche, what is they want to do. And so getting that messaging right, understanding who the client is going to help you with that. So I will leave it at that. I'm going to jump over to James again to hear that accent.
Thank you, John. So anecdotally, I guess is what I'm trying to say here. There's when you think of the ideal client, and Jane's right. I mean, there's some of these jobs that are like one-offs, and they're never ever going to do this again, just simply because of the size of the investment. And so you think about that kind of marketplace. Years ago, we worked with a plastic surgeon, and one of the things that he managed to do was target women in their 40s that had like 2 or more kids. But what he said was, hey, we're going to give you the body you had before you had children. Like, we're going to give you that body back. And that was his tagline. That's how, and it was amazingly successful. When you think about big renovations, I think about empty nesters. I think about the couple whose kids are now moving out. The house has been wrecked because of the kids. And now they've got an opportunity to go build the home they've always wanted, right? The home they wanted before they had kids type thing. And so to me, well, come on, we've all had kids and they wreck the house. They're horrible. We should never have kids. And so if you use that as a baseline and thinking about, well, maybe empty nesters is a great market. They've probably got some income or disposable cash now the kids are at the house. You can talk to that. I mean, you can talk to having the house that they've always wanted now that the kids have left. But you can definitely play with the language around that from a marketing standpoint. But whatever market you go into, that's kind of, I think, how you want to approach it. Like, what is the thing they want to have that they've never had or couldn't have that you can give them? And kind of start from there.
Awesome, James Lawson. Thank you, sir. Let's jump to Dan Lender. And Dan, I got to say, I was thinking of you when Maria's speaking. So take it away, Dan.
Thank you, John. It's always nice to hear that someone's thinking about me. Maria, thank you for your time this morning. I'm going to reiterate a lot of what James, John, and John said about picking your ideal client. And when I started my business, the ideal client was someone that was breathing and someone that could write a check, right? So, but then soon after that, you realize that some clients you like to work with better than others, right? And they enable you to sleep at night. So my take as well is identifying the ideal client, whether they're commercial or whether they're residential, and your processes and procurement, dealing with procurement and everything will be different, because I'm guessing they're different between commercial and residential. So, and then you may find after you do this, and it sounds like you've been doing this for a while, so you probably already know, but some things are more painful than others, and they just don't allow you to sleep at night as well. So picking your ideal client makes a big difference in your quality of life. And then also you get, as somebody said, you pick something and get good at it, and then make it reproducible. And then that determines your marketing and everything else. And you probably know this, but picking the ideal client is helped my business tremendously, because there's some client types that when I get the call, it's like they're not my ideal client, and so I know what I'm going into. So anyway, hope that's helpful. Thank you.
Thank you.
Melinda.
I have one final comment, and it's based on our move up to Baltimore to buy our forever home. And I would have loved to have found you 3 years ago, because the first thing we did was put a hood in the kitchen Then we had to redo all of our floors and have to redo the whole kitchen all the way down to the dirt. Well, our latest is our sump pump. We've now discovered wasn't buried deep enough and it's freezing. So now we've got to get that fixed. I mean, if you look at it, I mean, if you were up here, I'd say go after new row home owners because a lot of people are buying them up in this marketplace, for an example, as their forever homes. It's an interesting niche because I'm doing all the current things just naturally by design, but boy, I would have loved to hire you. And maybe there's a way to find a niche like that, but when somebody's buying their forever home and think of the forever home kind of focus, as well as I think the commercial is really easy to isolate and do well, and then bring it into the high-end homes.
Okay, thank you.
Anybody else? I'll make one other quick comment, Maria's. The neighborhood that I live in is now somewhere between 25 and 30 years old. And I've seen, I mean, people, you know, we've had a bunch of people move out, but we still have a bunch of people who are original homeowners that are redoing stuff. And so the homeowners associations, I think Alex mentioned that property management, those types of things, I think, you know, would be a great place for you and what you're looking to do. Because those people that have been in their house, a lot of people are looking at this, they don't want to move, you know, in some cases because the interest rate they have is so good and they decide, you know what, I'm not going to move, I'm going to redo. So anyway, so yeah, but certainly we've had a lot of good ideas. And oh, John Norris, let's squeeze one more in. John Norris, let's end on a John.
Yeah, it's okay. Hey, Maria, what do you feel like the number one problem you solve for a client? What is the number one problem you solve?
I can take care of everything for the client. So they tell me I want this, and I am able to dig deep to understand and translate it into a space.
So you're making not only like the dream a reality, but you're doing it in a process that you're like one call, do it all.
Yes.
Right? So you're,
Yes.
in a sense, taking the stress out of my life because any problem that arises, you're going to handle. You're going to
Yes.
save me time because I'm not on 1-800 customer service, or I'm not chasing down this or that. And the point I'm making is I'm on your website, and nowhere do you mention like your process or your ability to do that. And that's your number. It goes back to my first point. If I'm hiring you, it's because not only do I get that you're going to build or design my beautiful home, but I don't have the time. I don't have the time or the knowledge to know that, I don't know, this design center is better for this or that design center, or Ferguson. I know Ferguson's a big plumbing place. Okay, I might just go there and miss 5 other places that have faucets and stuff like that. So to me, your messaging should be a hook, like too busy to, or your dream home not happening because you don't have the time, we'll make it happen, or some kind of value proposition that goes to the client that's like, yeah, I resonate with that. I resonate with that. I'm calling that person because it sounds like they can solve my problem. It's all about solving problems. That's what it's all about. And you solve problems. You just need to make sure you're finding and communicate to those people that I solve your problem, which is take your dream, make it a reality, under budget, on time, with no stress. There's your value. At least that's how I see it.
Thank you.
All right. Excellent. So I think
did Suleiman want to jump in if it's quick, or
go ahead,
I have only one suggestion. If you can have like some networking events with real estate agents, they may help you and like to communicate with new house buyers. That will be helpful for you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Suleiman.
All right.
Okay, so end of questions.
We have the last one.
So, Maria, what can 1Million Cups community help you with today?
I've been working on my networking. So if you know of anybody, I would appreciate the connection, either residential, commercial for now, until I decide what I'm going to be focusing on. I would really appreciate that. If you know any networks that I could be a good fit, I would really love to hear from you. If you know any of the other possible partners, I will be open to meeting them as well and start to talk to them, getting to know what they know, and getting more clarity that way as well.
Thanks, Maria. So next week's presenter, could it be you? Well, maybe, maybe not, because I think we have someone for next week. If you're interested in presenting at our 1 Million Cups, we will have some open slots coming up. If we can move to the next slide. So these are some resources you can go check out to see additional networking or talks that might be getting done that might be beneficial for you as entrepreneurs. And I'm sure we'll copy and paste these into the chat so you can actually get the links. Next slide, please. So as you said, we have some open slots coming into February if you want to present. There is a system for making this happen. The first one would be contact one of the organizers and say, hey, we would like to present, and then we'll get you situated into the process. But as you can see, we have February 12th, 19th, and 26th are currently open. So let's go. If you want to present, do it. Next slide, please. And as always, we would appreciate any help you could give us to help spread the good word about 1 Million Cups and what we're doing here through either, I hate saying X, Twitter or X, the 1 Million Cups Fairfax LinkedIn page, Facebook, and the QR code at the bottom will give you all the links in one place to help us out and spread the word. Next slide, please. So you saw the photographs of all the organizers. We are always willing and open to adding new organizers into the fray. If you would like to become an organizer, help develop your skills in leadership, the collaboration, the marketing and coaching, or get visibility for your business, make friends and have fun, because we do have fun. We're pretty, laid back, and contribute to entrepreneurship, then yeah, you can just type me into the chat and we can have a conversation about what it would look like to join the organizing team. So that is it, everyone. Stick around for a while. We've got a few minutes if you want to chit chat or add additional advice or ask some questions or just network.